Welcome to the Gaming Table. This is a weekly video game discussion show in which the topic and host changes each week. This week, I'm going to be your host. My name is Ethan, and I'm joined by
Cass,
Alex,
and Kaylee.
And the topic that we're going to be discussing today is Animal Crossing New Horizons.
well, before today's episode, we're gonna do a little update on Cyberpunk 2077, because since we filmed the last episode, CD Projekt Red actually came out and said they were actually planning to relaunch the entire game on next gen only, because the launch was so bad that they're gonna forget that it ever happened and then relaunch the same game but with everything that it should have had from the first place. So we'll see what happens with that. I don't know when it's coming out, but they said they're gonna do it, so hope something good comes out of that.
So maybe it'll finally be the game it's supposed to be. Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's get into Animal Crossing. So, Animal Crossing is one of Nintendo's most popular franchises ever. Since the original entrant on the Nintendo 64, which was only available in Japan, since then, every Nintendo console has had a major release of an Animal Crossing game. There was a very successful app spin-off and significant merchandising worth millions worldwide. The franchise as a whole has sold over 66 million units worldwide, with almost half of which coming from the most recent game alone, Animal Crossing New Horizons on the Nintendo Switch. So, none of you have ever played Animal Crossing?
No.
I've never had a Nintendo anything, so.
Oh, perfect. So I guess my first question, and feel free to, it's okay because you probably don't actually know anything. But my first question is, I just want to know, what do you know or think the game is as it stands right now, having never played it, or just maybe passively heard about it?
I know it's like a how would I describe it? Like, I guess they're considered simulation games. We like build your own island, I guess.
So it's like Sims?
Kind of, but like you're more active in it.
Yeah.
As opposed to like in Sims, you don't control a character. In Animal Crossing, you are a character. Do you know Sims at all?
No.
Okay, so Sims is a game that people play where they make little people and design their homes and their lives and stuff and control them, but like not like with a stick or whatever. They just like say, okay, go microwave or something.
Isn't Sims like mainly a computer game?
Sims is a computer game, yeah.
I think they ported it to like consoles, but it's like not many people play on consoles, I don't think.
Yeah. So Animal Crossing is different in that you are controlling a character in the world, and then there are also characters that you don't control.
And do you create this world, or is it just...
Yeah, so basically, Animal Crossing, the first difference between Sims and Animal Crossing, and really Animal Crossing and any other game, is that it is a real-time game.
Oh god.
Meaning that a day in Animal Crossing is a day in real life.
Oh, good
Oh
lord.
wow.
So you control a character who lives on an island. You're given, at the start of the game, you're given basically control of this island by these animal characters. And your goal is to build up this island, build buildings and make it look nice. You can decorate it however you want. There are activities to do every day. You can catch fish and bugs and go hunting for trophies and all sorts of things like that and donate to the museum. You can buy things from the store and build up your own house or decorate the island around there. And you're building up relationships with these other people that live on the island, except all the people are animals.
Right.
Talking animals.
Are you an animal, like a character?
You're the only human character.
Oh god. Okay, I
So
see.
your neighbors and friends on the island, you might have a friend who's a dog and one who's a horse and an elephant and all of these things like that. And you get to decide where their house goes and make things better on the island for them. The main appeal of the game is that it is slow paced and is designed to be relaxing. You know, like everything takes time in the game as opposed to like any other game on the planet. You know, like
So I know people that play that game. So they just hop on after they're bored or they're off work or off school, whatever. And they just hop on. It's like, hey, I'm gonna go check on my Animal Crossing thing. I was like, okay, what's that? But now I know what they meant. Like that's their time off. That's their relaxation kind of thing to do.
Yeah, it's like, and everything takes so much time. It's like if you get a new, like the store only has like 5 furniture items in it a day, and if you buy those,
you have to wait. If you want newer stuff, you have to wait the next day to restock.
You might not even like anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Or if you are like when you first get on the island, there is nothing there. There's nothing. You have to build your own tools by like foraging for wood and stone and stuff like that.
Sounds like Minecraft.
Kinda, yeah. This is the first game that actually introduced that because the previous games weren't like this, which makes sense because since the last ones, you know, Minecraft has gotten so big.
Yeah.
But you start with nothing and you really are building. Like when you build a new building, it takes at least 24 hours for it to be built. You know, things like that. So it is designed. I guess my question is, does this sound maybe relaxing to you, or does it sound like something that might stress you out?
I have no patience.
Yeah, I feel like I would get impatient.
I would get irritated so quick. I need it to speed up.
When I was a kid, I played Minecraft like every other kid. I never got really into it, but like it's kind of the same concept. You have to gather resources, find a location, build your house, stronghold, whatever, and it takes a while. When you're in actual survival mode, it takes a while for you to gather stuff, and then you could die on the way to just get wood to make your home, and that's why I just went into creative mode and just make stuff. So I guess I'm not patient as well, so I don't like this type of games, but I can understand the appeal. So I can understand if people want to play this.
So it's interesting that you say this because there's actually 2 contingents of Animal Crossing players. They're the ones that like to take their time.
Yeah.
And then there are the cheaters.
Okay. So creative mode in Minecraft.
Because you can change the date and time on your Nintendo Switch.
Right.
Very easily, and there's no real consequence. So you could just be like, well, I'm tired of waiting for my store to update.
So there's people with like their Switch, whatever, that just says they're in like the year 2050 something because they've done this so many times.
Exactly. You just go, okay, well, I'm done with today. It's tomorrow now. Here we go. Yeah. And there's like fighting between the fans of the game as to whether or not you're supposed to like take it.
It's like almost every genre of games have like 2 different play styles and they always fight against each other. Like the campers hate the quickscopers in Call of Duty, and the creative modes and survival modes in Minecraft hate each other.
Exactly.
The racing games, people hate people that use assist versus simulation settings. So I guess that's a really interesting thing about games.
So it is designed to be played, you know, in real time, but you can get to the bulk of the game pretty quickly.
I wish they would put like a setting in the game that would like allow it to speed up time for people that aren't as patient.
In the previous games, they made it very easy. You could just do it in the game, like like go to a
so
video
it's like part
and
of the
change the date. Yeah, exactly. But now they like with this new one, they kind of are discouraging it, but you can still do it easily. So let's talk about the newest entry into the franchise, Animal Crossing: New Horizons. This is the most anticipated game for Animal Crossing fans for a long time because the most recent one was on the 3DS in 2011. So 10 years.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
I seriously thought it was a DS only game.
It was originally intended, this new one they announced was going to come out in 2019.
Yeah.
And then it was postponed to March 20th, 2020.
I wonder what happened there.
So, and this is where it gets interesting, is that initially fans were upset, much like Cyberpunk, about having to wait extra time for this game that they've been waiting for so long. But it wound up being the best possible thing for Animal Crossing and for people who play it.
Really?
Because it came out March 20th, 2020. This is right as the pandemic.
It's like day 1 COVID.
This is literally as
now I think of it, all the people I know that plays that game all played it, like that's all they did.
Right as the world was going into lockdown. It came out March 20th, 2020.
That's such a great time to release a video game.
And because it's a game about being able to go outside, talk to your friends,
Something you
do
can't
whatever
do.
you want. Exactly. Yeah. Like it gave people a sense of being productive as they are locked inside, but they're getting to build up this fictional island and making friends with these animal characters, you know, and it was a very welcome, like, change for people and like an escape from how things were. Even if the new version of normal involves, you know, talking raccoons and things like that. In less than a year's time, Animal Crossing New Horizons became the best-selling Switch game of all time. More than Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, any of these games that like people think of as being the Nintendo games, right? And I think it will go down in history as one of the most influential games ever made due to its profound effect on the world as a whole.
Because if you think of like what games people were playing during COVID, during lockdown, it's
like, do you remember? Did you know anybody that was playing it, or maybe like you saw on like Twitter or TikTok?
Like everybody I knew.
It?
I was back home in Houston, and everybody I knew, like our little group of friends back home, they were all on it. I'm just like, what? It's like what? I don't understand what they're doing. So it's like, okay, I guess we'll just say instead of
Yeah, it was impossible to get a Switch for like. It's still basically. It's like everybody wanted to get one to play this game.
Yeah.
So like, Cass, what did you do during lockdown to distract yourself?
I taught myself how to use Photoshop.
There you go. Yeah. Feeling a sense of feeling productive, like you were accomplishing something. Kaylee, what did you do? Did you have a game that you were playing, or
I'm sure I played lots of games to be honest.
Yeah, same. That's like mainly what I did. Cause to class, whenever lockdown happened, class was a joke. We were not learning anything. So there's so much free time.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I was a huge Animal Crossing fan since I was a kid. Like I played all the ones when I was a kid, so I was ready for this to come out. And like, I mean, I literally didn't do anything else. Like I had like 200 hours in the game in like 2 months. It was crazy. And it was just one of those things where it's like, what else was I gonna do?
Yeah.
You know, like it was the perfect time, especially because I probably would have played at least half as much. You know, even if there wasn't a pandemic. So it was good that I was able to not be, I don't know, missing out on important work.
It is the best time to just do nothing and stay home.
Exactly. But that gets us into kind of the problem, which is everyone was playing so much. Some people were time traveling, which is what they call the cheating, basically, changing the date and everything. So getting through all the content in like a month or two, and then what are you left with? So Nintendo came under criticism for the game being too repetitive and containing, this is the important part, containing significantly less content than the previous Animal Crossing games. So there was, simultaneously, it was like new in that it was kind of a new concept, and it was the first one in like HD and stuff like that. But a lot of the things that you could do in the previous games were not in this at launch, right? So it was too repetitive and there just wasn't enough to do. And then a year and a half goes by with this game and there was only one semi-significant update, right? After all that time. So this is enough time for the people who play the game to get bored, move on to other things, or people who are just like, I know people who bought a Switch and started playing it, like this was their first video game ever. Yeah. And as the world opened back up, they moved on because they, had other things to do. They didn't have to be stuck inside. So for nearly 2 years, there's radio silence. But before we get into what happened next, I think we need to talk briefly about how Nintendo handles video game updates and news. So first off, you said you don't have a Nintendo console.
I do not.
No.
So you don't have one at all. So you guys are mainly PC or like
Consoles,
Xbox or PlayStation, right? So in contrast to what we talked about last time with Cyberpunk, Nintendo's strategy is just not to tell anybody anything ever. So they have these events that they call Nintendo Direct, which is like 30 minutes to an hour where they just explain everything that they've been working on for the past months, and that's it. There's no they don't tweet out, okay, here's the status of this game, we're working on this, or announce things before that. It all comes at once, and they never announced when those are going to happen until like the day before. So fans think, most Nintendo fans become incredibly toxic because they're like, well, they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Because they're not telling them what they're doing or whatever. And this became the thing with Animal Crossing where fans like gave up, they were angry, and this game that's the most wholesome game in the world, like just about like chilling out and being friends with these cute little animals, right? Like the fans are just angry and upset with Nintendo and everything.
I just want to like quickly add something to that because I'm on Xbox.
Yeah.
That's the main thing I play on. And during this whole time, a game I actually played, Forza Horizon 4. It's a racing game. What that team did is kind of the opposite of that, but they did it in a really good way and like not like Cyberpunk. They would constantly update people on what's going on with the game because it's a game that came out in 2018 that lasted till Horizon 5 that came out literally this week. So it's a game that's supposed to last 3 years that was designed to only last a year and a half. But they would do constant updates. They would do streams and with the devs like answering questions and like telling fans what's going on. And they constantly add content like every week, like new cars, new challenges, new things to do. So it kept the game that was only supposed to have content for like a year and a half until the next game comes out. It kept it alive for 3 years because of that, and people were still actively playing it up until the launch of the new game this week.
Yeah.
So that's just the little contrast between that and what Animal Crossing did.
And you play Call of Duty, they do the same thing like every month or two or whatever.
I mean, they have seasons, so like it's every season like it's almost a new game sometimes.
Yeah.
So
For the most part.
Well, you know what happened next? They updated the game. They did it.
Wow.
They on November 8th, we got Animal Crossing 2.0, which is a massive free update that has loads of content to the game, seeing lots of features and characters from previous entries in the franchise return, as well as brand new content that breathed new life into the game and fleshed it out to feel like a complete experience. Some of the new features they added was a cafe where you can hang out with your villagers, a brand new island where fan favorite characters returned to open new shops, the ability to grow crops and cook food, which has never been a thing in Animal Crossing before, but it was something that people really wanted, and over 3,000 new items. And then, if that wasn't enough, on the same day they released a paid DLC experience called Happy Home Paradise, which for just $25 effectively gave players a brand new game in which you get the chance to design villager houses and build up a business through an original storyline. But the free update and the DLC dropped on the same day and worked in tandem with each other, but if you couldn't afford the DLC, there was still more than enough free content to warrant playing for months, basically.
So it's not a completely new game. It's just
The,
revamped.
exactly, it's what you wanted the game to be from the begin with, basically. So I've been playing both 2.0 and the DLC, and I'm pleased to say that it is everything that I could have wanted and more as an Animal Crossing fan. The game finally feels like what I wanted it to be when it first came out, and I can see myself being engrossed in it for months, if not years to come. So just to finish things off, what do you think? I mean, is this what you thought Animal Crossing was when you hear people talking about it?
No. I thought, I had no idea what this was, but I thought it was going to be like a little animal trying to cross the road.
I was thinking of the title,
that's
what does that
exactly
mean?
what I thought it was.
Yeah.
So this is mind-blowing.
Well, does it sound interesting? Like maybe something that might be fun? Or are you like,
I probably wouldn't play it personally, but I mean, it's cool for people that like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It was crazy when it became like the biggest game on the planet, because for like a decade, Animal Crossing fans were viewed as being kind of weird, because it's like, sorry, you play what?
Yeah.
What is that? but
I'm surprised what kind of people play, grown ass dudes playing a game called Animal Crossing.
Exactly.
Okay, sure, yeah, you do that.
But it truly is very relaxing for me. If I've had a long day at work or doing schoolwork or whatever, just playing for even just 20 minutes is enough to be relaxing, because
Do you accomplish all this stuff in 20 minutes since it's all real time?
Well, I mean, not really. No.
You check your mailbox or you walk your pet, whatever.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know how the game works, but
they don't have pets because it'd be a little weird.
It's like
friends with a dog and then you're walking one on a leash.
It's like I'm walking a human right now.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it's great. I love it.
Maybe I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
I know my brother bought it, so I'll maybe try it. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like my type of game, but like I said, I respect people that play it now more because, like I said, I was thinking like grown ass people playing a game called Animal Crossing, but I never knew what it was about. So that's a lot of insight to what the game is and how it works. So yeah, I mean it's an interesting game for sure. Like the real time thing is kind of like that's almost no games do that. Well, I think very few, but I can't name any. But almost no games do that. So that's like a really interesting dynamic in how the game mechanics work. Like if you want to wait for something to like now you can grow crops. Yeah. Does it actually take days, like days for something to? Yeah. That's insane. Like
I planted potatoes on the first day. Then I unlocked them. I just got them yesterday. So it took me like 4 or 5 days.
You see, I will play like Farmville, and I'll be irritated that it takes an hour for my corn to grow, let alone 2 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah. You have to keep up with the crops. You have to water if you don't, it dies.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh my gosh.
Yep. So that's Animal Crossing.
Interesting.
Thank you so much for watching and for listening to me talk and for us having our little discussion. Hope you learned maybe a little something about Animal Crossing that you didn't know before. If you like this video, like the video.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Exactly. Subscribe.
And check out Twitter's.
And we'll check out the Twitter for updates and for some more engagement over there. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.